Hey everyone, welcome to week 3. I'm just putting together a quick little video for you. Shouldn't take too long. I just want to point you in the right direction on stuff this week since I'm not able to meet with you on Tuesday. Um, I mentioned on the Piazza announcement that I have to take so many furlough days this semester, and I need to take one of my first furlough days tomorrow, September 1st. So I will be unavailable tomorrow, September 1st. So we will not be meeting on Zoom. So again, we will not be meeting on Zoom tomorrow, September 1st, either at 9 o'clock or at 1 o'clock for the normal lab sessions. Tiffany will be available at noon for the normal SI sessions that she does. But I will be unavailable. I will not be available for my office hours either. So I just wanted to just quickly run through what you should start working on this week. If we look over here in the modules area, the 2 modules you'll be working on this week, there's the just regular tissues module, which is the lecture material, if you will. Start working through all of that. It's got the usual parts to it, crash course video. It's got the links to the relevant parts of the OpenStax book. There's actually a few different crash course videos this time because they break it down by different types of tissues that you'll be studying. And then there's the tissues presentation with the lecture notes and everything like usual. And then there's a homework that's due by Friday, just like normal. So lectures kind of just same groove, same routine we've gotten into the first 2 weeks, but this week we're looking at tissues. Lab this week is also on tissues, where you're going to start learning more about the tissues, epithelial tissues, connective tissue, a little bit about muscle, a little bit about nervous tissue, but for the most part, you're going to be focusing both lab and lecture. You're going to mostly be focusing on epithelial tissues and connective tissues. Those are the 2 big topics that are really focused in on this week. We will touch on a little bit with muscle tissue and nervous tissue, a little bit, but we're going to go into more detail on those in future modules, in future parts of the class. So we'll touch on them this week because they are tissues. They are part of the tissues chapter. They're 2 of the primary tissue types in the human body, but we're going to go into more detail on muscle and more detail on nervous tissue later on. So we're mostly focusing on epithelial and connective. So again, the lab module is set up similar to what you worked on last week with the cells. There's several different pages that you'll read through. Again, I've essentially embedded the lab manual into different pages in this tissue lab module that's built into Canvas. So it's like your lab manual is built into Canvas. And so what I've done a little differently this week, there is no visible body this week. There wasn't really anything in visible body that I found to be super useful related to the tissues. So I didn't build anything in visible body this week for you guys to work on. But what I did instead was you'll work through, like for example, there's a page, you'll read some introductory stuff on the tissues. You'll start reading a little bit more about epithelial tissues, and then there'll be some simple epithelial tissues, stratified epithelial tissues. So you'll essentially study and learn more about the different types of epithelial tissues in the body. And then I set up a little practice quiz. Again, this does not count towards your grade. It's just like it says, whenever I put that word practice either into a quiz or anything that I build, if I put the word practice in there, it's for practice. It does not count for your grade. But I do recommend that you do it. In fact, you have to do it in order to complete this module. Take this little short practice quiz. Now, what I've done is I built the questions in this practice quiz, and there's a second one that's a little bit later in the module. I've set it up to where it's going to ask you questions that are very, very similar to what you're going to see on Lab Practical 1. So they're the types of questions where a lot of them, you'll look at an image and you have to type in an answer. It's not multiple choice. It's not matching. It's not true false. You actually have to type in an answer, and yes, spelling does count. And so it's good practice for you to start doing that, start thinking about that, because those are the kind of questions you're going to see on the first lab practical. And historically, people have the hardest time, students have the hardest time in this class on the lab practicals. They tend to be the hardest assignment that students do in this class. So definitely take advantage of those practice quizzes. So once you go through that, it's 10 questions. You know, you can take as long as you want. I didn't put a time limit on it. So take your time, get used to it, get used to the kind of question. Again, that does not count towards your grade. It's just for practice. Okay. Then you'll work through several more pages, several more different parts of this lab that goes over connective tissues. There's lots of different connective tissues that you need to start becoming familiar with. So there's loose connective tissues, there's dense connective tissues, there's bone, there's cartilage, and then there's fluid tissues as well, such as blood. Blood's the main fluid tissue that we're going to look at. So you'll work through these different parts of the lab, reading through those, making your notes like you've been doing, and then there's a second practice quiz there that will test you on some of the stuff related to the connective tissues. Then there's two last little sections. Like I said, muscles. We're going to do a little bit in this part of the class. We'll do a little bit on muscles, just kind of an overview of the different types of muscle tissue, and then we'll do an even briefer overview of nervous tissue. These won't take you very long at all to work through. And then at the end, once you get through all those different parts, you've got a review sheet to complete. That's due next Monday, September 7th, so the normal Monday due time for the review sheet, just like we've been doing since the beginning of class. So that's kind of the plan for the week. I will be available the rest of the week, but like I said, I'm mandated to take so many furlough days this week, and the first one I have to go out of town for a little while tomorrow anyways, so it ended up working out that I just was going to take a furlough day tomorrow. So anyways, I will post this video online so that everybody can watch it if you need to. Hopefully everybody does. I will post it with that summary announcement that I always post, this week in anatomy kind of thing. I'll post this video there, and then I may also post. I think I'll probably post on Piazza too. So. All right, hopefully everybody has a good week. Ask questions on Piazza, or ask Tiffany questions in SI session, whatever you need to do for tomorrow. All right, take it easy, everyone.